Yo, what's good? Good afternoon, Freedom March, Freedom Family, Freedom Lovers, and Freedom Fighters. It is Sunday, March 10th, 2024, and it's my sister's birthday, so I gotta hit her up. At least send her a text message. Anyway, how y'all doing this morning? Just wanted to do a quick live stream. Please hit that like button when y'all step up in the building. Because this is important information, important news that they're not going to blast all over the place, because most of these people, they agree with all the seggs trafficking, all the child trafficking. They this is their bread and butter, and they want that shit to be, they want it to be smooth sailing in regards to that. They don't want any resistance. But when certain people do resist and they do their job to actually bring these people to justice, they're not going to spread it far and wide as they should. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the mainstream media. Not the local news media that will cover it, but mainstream media and all that good shit. Of course they'll cover it. You go to Google and there'll be articles or whatever, but you have to go and search. What the hell happened? That was weird. Anyway, I'm on my way back to Georgia. I got to go to work tomorrow, but I wanted to get out there today. I had a couple things I needed to do. So, yeah. Anyway. How y'all doing? So apparently, in Florida, a sheriff, well, there was a joint task force, right, that covered many different counties in the state of Florida, and they busted about 228 people that were involved in a sex trafficking ring that included children, adults, all that stuff. And many of these perpetrators, some of them were, they worked at hotels, they were teachers, school crossing guards, all that type of shit. Like, you're talking about an operation that involved many different people in many different professions. And of course, some of these people were children. Some of these victims were children, of course, as they always are. And you have to think about it. You got teachers, school staff, and crossing guards involved in this, and you also have people in different professions, and you also have illegal immigrants involved. And so what is really going on here? This seems like a collaboration. This seems like a conspiracy against, those people who are the weaker among us, right? The weaker among us who, they rely on us to protect them. They rely on us to take care of them. They rely on us to keep them away from harm, keep harm away from them. But we're failing them. Why? Because we're so caught up in identity politics and all this other shit. We're so concerned about, how we convey things to children. And, we got these teachers that are trying to teach our children to be sexual deviants at an early age. Oh, it's okay for you to think you're a girl. It's okay for you to touch a dildo. All these different things that are going in the school system. And here you find out, well, we got many people who are employed by the school system participating in trafficking rings. And so, this is homeschooled, right? And me and my wife talked about it. We're talking about, well, what about when oldest is at high school age and she wants to go to high school? Well, that's something we got to talk about. I don't know, guys. Am I back? Looks like YouTube that knocked out my viewers. I don't know what's going on. but it's acting funny today, right? So I guess they don't like the subject I'm talking about. But there you have it. That's why I wanted to make this a short live stream, because I already knew, spend too much time on it, they're going to shut it down. So listen, 228 people involved in a busted for seggs trafficking of minors and adults. Good job to the sheriffs down there that are actually doing their job and making sure this shit is being shut down, right? And of course, that's probably just the tip of the iceberg. There's, unfortunately, so many people go missing each year that end up becoming involved in these rings and being a part of that, being victims of it. And so we just have to remain vigilant. We have to be more vigilant. We have to make sure that we are protecting our children, and not just our children, but any child within our sphere of influence, right? Whether it be our nieces and nephews, little cousins, our children's friends, and it won't hurt to get with other parents that have the same concern and come up with a plan to help protect your children, to help your children learn how to protect themselves and what the signs are, and where they should and should not go, especially when they come to an age where they're going to want to go out and explore the world on their own more. But you have to equip them with the knowledge and the physicality to ensure that they're protected. And so let's just keep that in mind, right? I don't even know if this live stream is going right now, but it is what it is. I just got thrown off by them attacking my channel. So anyway, also quickly on this, right? There's all this stuff going around about Miami and all that, not wanting black people to come to Miami for spring break because of all the ruckus black people cause, right? This whole misconception that, only black people act a fool and act crazy and go to places and go to spring break and all this, that, and third. They're the only ones who act a fool. When people of every race go out to Miami, and that's just the thing. Not just for black people. For white people, Hispanics, people that live in Miami, they all go out and they all do the same shit. I don't know where people get this idea that, white people, they don't do this type of thing, when it's complete and utter bullshit. All you got to do is stroll through YouTube, stroll through, TikTok, stroll through all these different Instagram. You'll see, right? You'll see groups of people together that are white and black, and they in the same group, and they doing the same crazy shit, twerking and fighting. Black people aren't the only people that fight, twerk, all that other type of shit. This idea that only black people riot, and even with the George Floyd riots, right? People that initiated most of that, the people that initiated most of the violence were young white people, young Antifa members. They were white. They were the ones burning down buildings in the neighborhood. They were the ones. Black people were trying to stop them. There were black people trying to stop them. The provocateurs involved in this were mostly white. You know what I'm saying? They were the ones causing all this bullshit. You've seen videos of this guy running around trying to set shit on fire and all this other type of shit, wearing a mask, but you can tell he's white because, the parts that aren't covered, you can see that he's white. And, they're like, what are you doing? Black people are telling them, ask them, what are you doing? Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. Come on with the bullshit. All right? Black people aren't the only ones out here acting crazy. All right? But anyway, it is what it is, y'all. I'm going ahead and get off of this. I feel like this is an unproductive live stream, just because, I don't know. Then another thing with the microplastics, right? They're now finding, so they say they're now finding, I think this has been known for quite a while. They're finding microplastics in clogged arteries. So the plaque that clogs the arteries, they're finding microplastics in them, right? Microplastics. And this you get the microplastic to get in your system many different ways. It's in the air, it's in some of the food you eat, depending on what type of container it's in. It's hard to avoid microplastics, right? Because it's such a huge part of society now. So it's such a huge part of consumerism, right? You can't really escape it, right? From you ingesting it. But there are certain things that you can do to keep it from entering your bloodstream, right? Like having a strong gut lining. There are different things that you can do that can help strengthen the gut lining to make sure that the microplastic doesn't cross the gut lining into your bloodstream. And then you got the nanoplastics as well, which are going to be much more difficult to prevent from getting in your bloodstream because they're much tinier than the microplastics. But you can strengthen your gut lining to make sure that that doesn't happen, and you can, over time, you can get the microplastics and the nanoplastics out through your digestive tract and shit it out, right? So it's just about having a healthy diet that contributes to having a strong gut, having strong gut permeability, right? And that's what it's all about, permeability. If you ingest it by mouth, it has to go through your digestive tract before it can go into your bloodstream. It has to go through your esophagus, go through your stomach, where there's a high acid environment. Then it goes through your liver, your gallbladder secretes stuff in there to help break shit down even more. Well, it's not designed to break down these plastics, so it ends up in your gut. And what from there, the gut your body recognizes that this should not enter your bloodstream, so it's going to get that. It's going to excrete it out. You're going to shit it out. You're going to pee it out, right? And so the key is to ensure that your gut is doing its job and expelling this crap. That is the key. Because like I said, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to avoid it 100%. It just is, right? I mean, you can't really, the microplastics are everywhere. It's in the salt. It's in anything that you have plastic, right? Anything where that's packaged in plastic. It's in the air from the nanoparticles and all that stuff that they spray into the sky. All that type of shit. And so the best thing you do is try to reduce the amount you ingest. And guess what? Exercise helps with that. Because exercise is going to put your body through autophagy. And what this autophagy is going to do is going to help get rid of waste. It's going to help get rid of sick cells that are affected by this and that and the third, whatever it is. And it's not just microplastics, right? It's other things. So the best thing we can do is try to eat, more whole foods, maybe that aren't going to be sitting in plastic for a amount of time. So let's say just as much whole food as you can, right? That hasn't been packaged in plastic. So you go to the grocery store and you see packaged items that are wrapped in plastic or in plastic bottles or in plastic containers. You don't know how long it's been sitting in that plastic shit. And you don't know what temperatures this stuff has been exposed to, because once these things are exposed to certain temperatures, the microplastics will leach into the product that you're going to be consuming. So that is also something you can do. Maybe try to focus on getting items that are packaged in glass, stainless steel, maybe corn plastic. I forgot what they call that. The oil form is ethanol, right? But they have biodegradable packaging. And certain items come in biodegradable packaging, which is going to be better for it to be packaged in than plastic. So there's certain things you can do to reduce the amount of microplastics that end up in your bloodstream that you ingest. So like you go to the meat market. Well, your meat is sitting out there in the butcher shop, not wrapped in plastic, but then they'll wrap it in plastic and put the butcher paper around it, right? So they'll wrap it directly in plastic, then the butcher paper. And then guess what? You take it, go home, you take it directly, you put it in the freezer, you put it in the refrigerator. Really no danger of that plastic wrapping leaching into your meat, right? So there are certain things that you can do to reduce the amount of microplastic you consume and reduce the amount of microplastic and nanoplastic that get put into your bloodstream. And that's really the key, to keep it from getting in your bloodstream. Like I said, through exercise, through a healthy gut that has strong gut permeability, or not limited gut permeability, to prevent leaky gut, all that other stuff. Leaky gut, you don't want that, right? And then you also want to reduce and minimize how much bacteria or anything else ends up in your small intestine. So small intestine is essentially a sterile environment. And so these are things that you want to keep, free of whatever's not supposed to be in there. And so, yeah, just keep that in mind, man. Like, there's a lot of dangers out there, right? With the jabby jab, they got the white blood clots that are like, have the consistency of squid tendrils and all of the stuff that are taking up, just entirely forming inside of blood vessels, to the point where it's like essentially a cast of that blood vessel. And embalmers, they're pulling it out completely out of the blood vessels. Then it's like 6 inches long and it's fully 100% blockage of these blood vessels. But you have to get the jabby jab essentially for that to happen. So that's something that you might want to look out for. Yeah. But now we have this not really added danger, right? It's probably something they've known for a while, and now they're just coming out with it because maybe somebody was about to say something about it to the world, and so they say, oh, let's get ahead of it. So now you got the microplastics in the carotid artery plaque, and so again, it's all about minimizing, right? Doing what you can to put things in your body that are good for you. Now, one thing that I take, now this is not like a endorsement or anything like that. This is just something that I do to help with my gut lining and keeping it strong. I take this stuff called ARMRA, ARMRA. It's basically cholesterol, right? It's powdered cholesterol. And what cholesterol does, it does a number of things, right? But it helps strengthen the gut lining. It helps strengthen the blood-gut barrier, right? Which is very important. It strengthens the mucosal lining of your gut. And the stronger the mucosal lining is, the better you keep things out that shouldn't be in there. And I'm talking about your bloodstream, right? So what happens is, so let's say you have something that should not be in your bloodstream. Well, your gut is going to release, it's going to trap it in the mucus, in the mucosal lining, and it's going to excrete it. So that's good, right? That's what you want. You want a strong mucosal membrane in your gut. And so that's what ARMRA helps to do. And there's some good research that backs this. So just look it up. I get it every month. It's really good. Like, I noticed that I have minimal gut issues when I take it. And so, yeah, that's something to look into. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream. Y'all stay up. Good job out there in Florida, putting these bastards where they belong. And I got some advice for Florida. Consider a firing squad, right? For people like that. Why? Well, I know it's supposed to be inhumane and all this, but think about how inhumane the things that these people are doing to these children are. And so why should they get any more humane treatment than those children that are going to live with the scars of what has been done to them and the adults? So consider a firing squad. That might help with prevention a lot more. Like, oh, I don't want to get caught and end up in front of a firing squad, right? So anyway, something to consider. Much love. Like, share, subscribe, and we're going to keep marching forward toward freedom. Peace. Peace out, Jay with open eyes.